Many of us own homes, and as homeowners, we need to hire people to help us out. Some of us are relatively handy around the house, but oftentimes we need people to come in to work on our air conditioning system, our electric, our plumbing, our roof, or maybe our garage door. Jon Phillips is joining me from A1 Garage Door Service to talk about this. Hey, Jon, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Checker Pro?
I am living the dream, my friend. Thanks. So, as homeowners, people need to occasionally or on a regular basis hire a so-called professional to come out and work on something, correct?
Yes. At all times, I would like to say I'm a jack of all trades, garage doors, a little bit of car stuff, a little bit of electrical. But, sometimes the refrigerator filtration system is just a little bit out of my wheelhouse and I got to call somebody.
Yeah. And when we do, we don't really know for sure who's going to come out, what kind of experience they have. Have they been in prison? And that's a legitimate question, by the way, everybody. Have they been in prison? Okay. And actually, I started Checker Pro back in 2005 to protect myself and my fellow homeowners with, contractors that aren't so good. So we pre-qualified them. So here's the question of the day. What should one expect from a service technician?
That question to me is there is a mechanical, you can do this, you can do that, it functions this way, and there's a lot of people that can rig stuff and have a mechanical aptitude to kind of throw it together. But really, whenever someone comes into your home, you got to have a little bit more of that personal touch, and you got to
Hmm.
like an example. Just a quick story. I had issues with my HVAC system at one point. Now, at this point, I was renting, and it was a rental management company. And of course, the people that they hire, maybe it's a little LLC that's only been open for like a year or something like that. And it's mostly about quantity than quality. So I took off work to wait for this guy to come. It's about to get humid. It's around the April, May time, trying to get the HVAC system fixed before summer. And I wait all day and I call this guy. And every time I call him, it's hello, who is this? Yeah. I'll be there. I'm in this part of town. I'll be there in 20 minutes. 20 minutes turns into 8 hours later. So I take all day off of work. And then he pulls up in the driveway, and it's just this old, beat up van, a van that looks like it's up to no good, to be honest. We all have the van in our head. And all I can see is just darkly tinted windows and the entire dash covered in McDonald's McChicken wrappers. And the guy steps out, and there's energy drinks and stuff falling into my yard. And then it's like a clown car, because then like three other guys come out, and you got one in a cowboy hat, you got one in Jordan shoes and a big old hoodie on, and then you got one that looks like an old country boy that I'm used to. And it's just an array of people. This visit happened 4 other times because they couldn't figure this out. And then by the end, all of this was said and done, I unfortunately got comfortable enough to say, I have to go to work. I can't be here this time. I'll leave the door unlocked. And unfortunately, some of the company that he kept to help him on this job ended up stealing stuff from my home. So came home, drawers open, stuff missing. It was terrible. And I felt very violated, and, my trust. And this is where I live. And these were the people that the company that is supposed to manage the property is supposed to take care of me. And my wife is here. And it left me exposed, and I felt like my money was taken, and it was just a gross feeling. Even though the job got done eventually, and the guy's been doing it for 30 years, so I figured he knew something, he knows more than me. It left a bad taste in my mouth. So what should you expect from a service technician when they come to your house, whether it's HVAC, whether it's garage doors or plumbing? One is communication. It should be, you should feel like you're at a 5-star restaurant. How are you doing today? How can I help you? Everything, all your concerns should be listened to. And then scheduling. You should know when that tech's going to come. I know that sometimes there are some companies that, hey, I can show up in between this window, and then we're going to call you to get an exact of what's going on. Yes, that should naturally happen. That tech should call you when they're on their way. And then whenever they say that they're 20 minutes away, within 5 minutes of that, it should be that. When they arrive, it should have a big company logoed van, so you know that's the person. It's clean. They're clean, even though it's a dirty job. I can understand that, but they're presentable. They shouldn't be smoking cigarettes and throwing it out into your yard as they walk up to your door. They don't even use the sidewalk. Maybe they have the old truck with oil and everything on it, and then they decide to park in your driveway. And then they knock on the door. And guess what? When we knock on the door, as garage doors, we can either go through to the garage, but hey, the garage doesn't open. Okay, do I need to take off my shoes? And I also have booties that I put on. Walk through the home, compliment. If there's a dog there, we're going to play with it because we love dogs. And then whenever we go out into the garage, we're not just saying this is the fix. We want to ask you what's been going on. I can't tell you how many times in my younger days of service to where I just kind of thought this must be the problem, getting to working on it, and then they'll come out and say, actually, this happened 3 days ago. Oh, I should ask questions. And that's with time, but that's what we teach all of our technicians to do. The estimate should be clear as day. You should know everything that you're going to pay for right before you sign and the work's done. You should be able to get a paper copy of that estimate and an emailed copy. These are all things that should be done. Google verified. Once again, back to just verifying business and employees that have been background checked before they bring into your home. And then also there should be people on the back end that are looking up on all these interactions and data through our estimates and inspections that we've done. So then even though it's a guy that's maybe only been doing this 5 years, I got a guy back at the office that's been doing this for 30 that's checking all of his work. These are the things that should be done. You should be able to call, express concerns, express what's going out, and it should be a completely transparent interaction. And if I show up there, if it takes 2, 5, 8 hours, if I got to be there all day, that's what it's going to take. And I'm going to be there and I'm going to have a smile the entire time because I'm happy and thankful for business. But these guys showing up with a magnetic sticker on the side of their truck, smelling like last night and just ashtrays, that's not what we want to bring into the home. And that's not what we want to deliver. This should be, it's not a privilege to get service like that. We owe it to you, and that's what should be expected.
Yeah, and you guys at A1 Garage Door Service have changed and continue to change the garage door industry for the homeowner and also for the people actually that work on your team at A1, which eventually flows over back to the customer again. If you're happy at home, you're happy at the homeowner's home, right? And so everyone does well. And it is so important to do all these things. Something came to mind when you said ask questions. A technician shouldn't just go in there and assume just because the cable came off of the drum that it's something. They should say, have you been having trouble? What kind of trouble? And it could be totally unrelated. It could be, well, our garage door operator, the garage door opener was kind of jerky for a while. Maybe it's a sensor. Maybe, who knows? But it's like when you go to the doctor, if you say, gosh, my arm hurts, they start asking questions, right? Well, how long has it been hurting? Did you do anything to injure it? Let's see. How old are you? Whatever, right? And, what's your diet maybe? Are you lifting weights? What are you doing? And so the same thing goes with home service. But because you train home service technicians at A1, Jon, that what you guys do is far ahead of what most chucks in a truck. That's the guy with that magnetic sign that's askew on that truck or that van. I'll tell you a quick story. No joke. Had a plumber come to my home in a white van, looked like it was from 1978. It was rusted, leaking oil. He opens up the back doors, and no joke, I didn't see the smoke, but it smelled of ganja, marijuana. And this guy looked like he just escaped from prison. And so that's why I started my business. I'm going to give a quick, show you here about Check a Pro and my book, because I wrote this book and started Check-A-Pro for exactly what you're talking about, protecting the homeowner from the lousy contractor.
Yeah. And whenever I first read Check-A-Pro, that's when I knew that us as a group and being friends and you being a mentor to me was going to be a good thing. Because in your book, it's all about asking the questions on what's right for you. When it comes to garage doors, there's a million different products and there's a million different people that are using them every day in different facets. So there's millions, if not billions, of possibilities. It's not the cut and dry. Don't get me wrong. There's some electronics to where it's flashing 5 times. I troubleshoot it. That's what's going on. But I gotta ask questions. I gotta be invested so I can get this one fixed right the first time, so you don't have to see me again. Unless you want to. I guess I'll come back out. We're friends now. I can do that. But I need my service to be tailor-made for that individual client and their needs. There's a different fix for someone that's like, hey, I need this garage to pass inspection. Okay. There's a different fix for someone that says, I'm only going to be here for a few more years and then we're going to flip the home, but still own it. Okay. Hey, I'm going to live here for the rest of my life. This is my forever home. Okay. And we need to tailor make those options for each one of those different people in their different situations. And that's what service is. If there's not questions, education, and tailor-made estimates and solutions, that's not the service for you. That's not the service for your home. If you don't feel comfortable, if you don't feel like they're looking at you and have absolutely the most attention, you are the only existing thing in the entire world at this moment, that's not the service for you. But if they're doing that, they care, and you know that this is going to get fixed right in your home.
Sure. Now, not that I date, but I'm assuming if you're dating, right, and you're on a first date and you're at a restaurant and you're on your phone doing this and your date across the table is not being paid attention to, you don't feel that important. Same thing in service, right? You don't want to be distracted. You want to look them in the eye and you want to say, so tell me what's been going on. And, you ask the questions, are you going to live here forever? Are you going to flip the house? Whatever. And then you start diagnosing things, then you go back to the homeowner and you talk about it and so forth and put them in the right product, right service. Maybe they use their garage door 10 times a day because they have 8 children and they all come home at different times and they use it as the front door. That tells you how often that garage door is cycling. Okay, well, the spring's going to be an issue in so many years, right? Because you can do the math. If it's only used once a year, that could be a problem too, because it's just sitting there and it's really meant to move. So, I mean, there's just all kinds of things to calculate and understand.
But that takes questions. So if you got people coming in, they come in 5 minutes, says the repair is thousands of dollars and this is what's going to happen without asking you a single thing, any history on it, history on you, what your goals are for the home, that's not a business that cares. That's a quantity business, and they're trying to get to as many calls as they can in a day. And guess what? When you go to 8, 12 different houses in a day and you're writing all those invoices on paper, think you're going to be able to find that company backed warranty? Probably not.
No, you're
Mistakes
right.
happen.
You're
So that's
right.
why we train our technicians, slow down, give people the time of day. You ain't got nowhere else to be. That client at that time is the most important thing. And our technicians live and breathe that. And I'm very proud of that. And we've learned that from other fields. We have Gettle, who we talk to a lot. They're an HVAC company. We're part of Garage Door Freedom. There's a vertical track event. All of us, we all share this information and raise the industry together. But as a homeowner, I need your help to raise the industry. You got to hold people accountable and you got to pick the best service for you. So do your research, look at the reviews, and you'll know within 5 minutes after listening to this podcast if that's the right service company for you.
Yeah, with all that said, where else would you go but A1 Garage Door Service? All of Jon's contact information is located in the description of the podcast. and check out A1. I'm telling you, once you use A1 for your garage door service, you're not going to go anywhere else. Everyone needs an AC guy, an electrician, and a garage door guy, and that should be A1. Thanks, John. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you so much.